Hello, everyone. My name is Seb, and welcome to the Jump Inside podcast. And today we don't have, unfortunately, Camazoid with us. I'm not going to go into details why, because it's a personal matter. So I'm just going to say we miss the fact that Camazoid is not with us. But without saying too much, I am going to move into this podcast, and let's begin. So let's introduce you to our podcast members. I'm going to kickstart off this with Jay. Jay, would you like to tell us about your channel?
Hi, I'm Jay. I work on Amadeus. I'm currently in the midst, still, if you've been listening to previous episodes, on this Call of Duty timeline video. And at the moment, I am up to 3 hours and 20 minutes worth of editing done. That's of the finished product, by the way. I have done over 50 hours worth of just editing this video. This might kill me, but yeah, that's what I'm doing. I do deep analyses of videos. I'm hoping to do some reviews in the future. I'm hoping to just do a bunch of other stuff once I've finished this. But yeah, that's what I'm mainly working on at the moment.
That's amazing. Right. Moving on to BlueFox. Would you like to tell us about your channel?
Well, I think I already talked about my channel plenty of times, but hey, there's always new people listening, so hello to everyone. I'm BlueFox from Italy, and I have a small YouTube channel where I discuss video game discussion and analysis. I do some reviews, I do some debates, I do some answering some questions regarding gameplay and design, and it is always a pleasure to be in this podcast, Seb.
Very nice. I noticed you've done, considering on what we're doing in today's podcast, I've noticed you've done videos based in games set in Italy and set in Spain of recent, so
yeah, that is correct. I've made a video talking about every game set in Italy in, I believe, March or April of this year. And lately I published the second video from that franchise, which is every video game set in Spain and Portugal. And I'm very excited about how the final video ended up, because I worked quite a lot of time for that one.
Brilliant. And I'm guessing you're then looking forward to this particular podcast as well. I think you've got properly well prepared.
I'm very excited indeed.
Okay, cool. Right, and last but not least, we have Danny in the zone, who is our Jump Inside helper outer. I don't know what title we give you, to be fair, but welcome, Danny, who's going to be covering for Camazoid this evening.
Hi, so basically what I do is I'm pretty much a slave of Sebastian and a few other people, and I'm pretty much just that person which doesn't speak a lot, and I just help out with videos, and I'm pretty much an assistant for Seb, and that's pretty much what I do.
So yes, that's Danny, please don't arrest me, but I'll tell you one thing. I know everyone's game set today. I know BlueFox's game, which his game is set in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. I know my game, which is in Vegas, and I know Danny's game, which is set in Hitman. But Jay's game is, I have no idea where her game is set, so I'm gonna actually just save that to the end of the video, if that's okay with you, Jay.
I'm totally fine with being last for that one. Totally fine.
Brilliant. Let's start off with BlueFox's. Blue, would you like to go with your game first?
Of course. As I introduced myself earlier, I've done a video where I discuss every game set in Italy. And what better game set in Italy than none other than Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood? In these two games, there are three major locations. There is Florence, there is Venice, and Rome. And in today's episode of the podcast, I want to talk about the latter city, the Caput Mundi, the city of Rome. In the game, you are allowed to explore freely the city of Rome set in the 1500s. So that's during the Borgia reign of the papacy, with Cesare Borgia leading calling the shots. And the city is quite big for being a PlayStation 3 Xbox 360 game. Now, in comparison to maybe like the newer Assassin's Creed, it may look quite small, but back then it was quite massive. And still today, we can recognize a lot of the famous Rome landmarks, such as the Colosseum, the Pantheon, the Roman Forum, the Castle Sant'Angelo, Piazza del Campidoglio, and of course, Vatican City itself. So it's one of the most beautiful recreations of Rome I've seen in video games. I know that Overwatch 2 has done a little recreation for one of its maps, which is also quite intriguing, but it is not free roaming as it is in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. So while I'm not the biggest fan of this particular title of the franchise, I would say that the City of Rome is extremely well recreated.
Yeah, okay. That's cool. I love Assassin's Creed Brotherhood to bits. One thing that I love about that game that personally I really enjoyed, and it's not so much about that particular area, but it's just something that makes that particular Assassin's Creed game one of my particular favorites compared to a lot of the others, is the modern day aspects of it. See, when you play as Desmond in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, if I'm correct, you go to the exact city you played at in Assassin's Creed 2, but you play it in modern day era, and so you can explore this lovely Italian kind of little home village that that you can see it the time wise as, like, you can see the future version of it, and if you're playing Assassin's Creed 2, you can also see the past version of it, which makes that game like so timeless. But at the end of the game, you actually get to explore parts of that game in modern day. So you get to see the places that you've been to from the past, so you get to experience in the past. But when you go in the modern day, you get to experience a tiny little bit at the end of it of kind of more of that Colosseum kind of area. And I think that's just beautiful that Desmond gets to do it. But like, on a question, for a first Assassin's Creed game, because you do get that wide open map. It's not sectioned off. It's not mini open areas. It's one full on big massive map. For the 360, that was like the first time Assassin's Creed tried to do anything like that. A full on free roam game. I personally, I loved it. But what are your thoughts about the first time they stepped into let's make this game fully free roam?
Well, of course, Assassin's Creed is well known to be one of the pioneers of these open world style video games that we've seen being born during the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 era. So the first Assassin's Creed, of course, took place during the First Crusades in Jerusalem and Damascus, and those cities were very basic. I mean, you could recognize some of the most famous landmarks, but I mean, they were made very blocky. I mean, they came after King of Persia, which was a linear game, so it wasn't a very polished experience. Then in Assassin's Creed 2, I would say that you would have seen a bit more improvement. So Florence and especially Venice would be cities which would be very well recreated and you would be able to recognize. And by the way, the city that you have mentioned that you can visit in the future, the small village is the village of Monteriggioni, one of the most famous villages in Tuscany because it's quite historic. But then, of course, with Brotherhood, what you had is that you had only one city. So you had one location. And Ubisoft really did the location justice because you not only explore the city, but you also explore the around the city where like the Colosseum and the Roman Forum would be. And that is truly, exciting because it gave the player a much more open area to roam around with horses and stuff. So it was very exciting to play Rome in that iteration of the franchise. Then, of course, with time, the franchise evolved in open worlds. We have seen in Odyssey, we've seen like ancient Greece, we've seen Valhalla with ancient, medieval England. We've seen Origins with Ptolemaic Egypt. So we have seen Assassin's Creed taking a much more RPG open world style rather than an action adventure set in one specific city. However, I would still say that Assassin's Creed Brotherhood holds well today in its location, even if it's aged a bit. Did I answer your question? I feel I didn't.
I think you did probably more accurately than anybody could ever ask.
Well, as I said, I really love the city. I've made I think it was all 2 years ago, I did a video where I only talked about this city specifically, so I have it quite fresh in mind. However, it is one of the many that Assassin's Creed proposes. You can think about Assassin's Creed Unisys Paris, which is astonishing. You can think of Assassin's Creed The Syndicate in London of the Victorian age. You can think of Assassin's Creed 3 with Boston and New York during the colonial times, or Assassin's Creed 4 with Havana and other Caribbean islands, cities. So it is Assassin's Creed is well known for recreating real life locations, and Rome is just one of them.
I understand, and from what I believe, you are a big Assassin's Creed fan. Is that correct?
Well, I played most of the titles. I didn't play Odyssey and Valhalla because I don't really like the new formula that Ubisoft has taken with the new Assassin's Creed. So I did play Origins, but I don't know. I wasn't too convinced, so I didn't bought them yet. I probably will eventually, but not quite yet. I'm looking forward for Mirage though.
Yeah, because I'd like to say that Assassin's Origins wasn't a full-on you're an assassin yet game. It's the becoming an assassin, so you kind of get the prequel of the assassins. And then when it comes to Odyssey and it comes to Valhalla? Is those the two titles?
Yeah.
Those two particular games, they're not quite full-on fully Assassin's Creed games. But there's a new Assassin's Creed game that's coming out called Mirage, and it looks like from the trailer you're actually playing for the first time in ages an assassin inside Assassin's Creed again. I wonder what are your thoughts about Assassin's Creed? Are they returning to their roots?
Well, let's keep this podcast in the context of video games set in real life locations. So Mirage proposes the city of Baghdad during the anarchy of Samarra, which is a very interesting time period. I think it's 200 years before the First Crusade, so there are going to be some links with the first game, I believe. And the city of Baghdad in those days was the epicenter of philosophy and culture. It was home to the Great Library of Baghdad, so I believe Ubisoft wants to recreate that city block by block, making a huge space for the player to explore and to, roam around as an assassin. So I'm very looking forward for that iteration of the game.
All right. I don't think there's anything more I can say to that apart from nothing is true and everything is permitted. So moving now on to Danny.
So one minute. Sorry, hold on.
Danny.
So I'm gonna be talking about. So I'm gonna be talking about Hitman 1, the final mission, Hokkaido, Japan. And I'm just going to talk about some of the features I love about that mission in particular. It's one of my favorite missions in Hitman, so I'm just going to start talking about it and what you do in it and stuff. So first thing is, the actual location is in Hokkaido, and you spawn in a medical hotel on a mountain. So you're on a literal mountain. It's a massive building, and it's a medical hospital / hotel, and it's on the side of a mountain. And when you spawn in, you get greeted with a nice, beautiful AI voice saying hello, welcome, blah, blah, blah. And it greets you with your nickname, which is Mr. Reaper. And after it greets you, when you stand up, the first thing I noticed when I first played it is that the weather outside, the snow, it looks beautiful. All the detail, there's no unpixelated snow parts. Everything just looks nice, smooth, shiny and beautiful, and you can see the distant mountains, which I find that very beautiful. And I actually spent a few minutes looking at it because I just couldn't get my eyes off it. And when I left, you realize that the staff actually wears masks. And I said earlier on, it's a medical hotel, so obviously the staff has to wear masks, and I find that a very good detail because it's a medical hotel. Staff wears medical masks and stuff, which is very cool in my opinion. And it also has in the interior a lot of Chinese and Japanese symbols everywhere. Or the outfits have robes, or the patients have robes, all dressed appropriately. And there's a restaurant you can go into with sous chefs, and you can actually cook some sushi if you want and actually serve it to people, which I found that very cool. And there's also outfit scanners, which I've never seen in any Hitman mission. So basically, you have to wear the perfect outfit. If you go up to a door, if you're not wearing the correct disguise, it will deny you access. But if you are wearing the right disguise, it will grant you access. And I've never ever seen that in a Hitman game. And I think that's a very good detail. And the final thing, one of my favorite, a smart toilet. It's pretty much like a talking toilet. It's a completely it's like an iPad, and you can just press some buttons on it, and it does literally everything, and it's just really funny to mess around with.
I'm laughing at that because I know exactly what you're talking about and how much fun I had in that game playing around with the magic toilet.
We've all had that dream, haven't we? Right? Not just
the
me.
Japanese already in the future.
the toilet talking to you.
Yeah.
How would you say the game, recreates or has that atmosphere, specifically being in Hokkaido,
I
in
think it
Japan?
has that atmosphere because in Hokkaido it actually snows pretty much all year round, and in the game it has that really atmosphere of like snowy, cozy atmosphere, which I don't know how much to say. It just has that good atmosphere of snow and like Christmassy stuff.
But is the game also set in a specific hospital in Hokkaido, or is it?
No, I think the hospital location is fictional, but there are actual medical hospitals in Hokkaido.
That are
It's
mountain based, yeah?
No, there's no mountain base. The mountain base thing is fictional, but
ah,
I think it's
because
still a very good idea.
because I know that Hitman has some games set in real life places. It's I believe the 2016 edition has one of its missions set in Vernazza, in Cinque Terre, Italy, and it's quite astonishing. If you've ever if you ever played the game, it's a recreation almost 1-to-1. So for that reason, I was wondering if perhaps they have made the same job in Hokkaido.
Oh, I haven't played the Hitman you're talking about, but yeah, no, they haven't done it in Hokkaido, the last mission. But it still looks very good. Everything, the interior, like it makes it feel like you're in Japan and you're in up north because Hokkaido is up north with a bunch of mountains. So they've aced that.
How many missions would you say, Danny, in the full game of Hitman, are like based off like real life locations, even if it's just themed in locations?
I think all of them are themed in a real life location. Maybe like one or two aren't, but I think roughly all of them are themed off a real life location.
Yeah, I liked the Paris one, because it's Paris is very famous for like fashion and all that kind of stuff. So it's like they didn't just do a fashion set in an American place or in a place. They made it make sense. They made it like if you're doing a fashion show, you're gonna be it's highly likely it's gonna be in places like Italy or it's gonna be in France. They did a well job of like going like if this is a situation, where's it gonna be at on the planet, and it's going to be like they chosen the locations pretty well. Like if they do a film location, they could do it set in India or in Hollywood. I like the things like that. It's really good, and they do a well thing of trying to take you all over the earth when it comes to other of those missions in the game. I think
I
would
really
you
like that. Yeah, I really like how they try and base every location off a real life place in the world.
Like they could just base like a race in England, but they didn't. They based it where like a really famous racing spot in Italy. I have no idea where that is in Italy, but I'm aware that is in Italy somewhere. So I apologize.
There are many races. There are many races placed in Italy. There's Monza. There's Imola.
Where is the place in
Mugello.
Italy? Where is the race based in Italy?
I mean, the most important one is Monza, of course. Where there's the Italian Grand Prix. Then there are some other race places as well.
I mean, I do believe there is a mission in Sapienza in Italy. If BlueFox can confirm that it is a real place.
Yes,
Sapienza.
it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's basically just on a beach side and like a massive villa on the top. But I can't really explain much about that because I'm not talking about that. But since we're talking about that subject, I just thought it would be relevant.
I think I may have that wrong. It says Miami. I apologize. The race location is in Miami.
You're sat there trying to figure out where in Italy this is.
I'm like that.
Miami is a bit farther away than Italy.
Yeah. I was gonna say. Okay.
Did you not know Miami is owned by Italy now?
So if you look in the whole planet, there's that football boot that's where Italy is, and if you look right on the very left, there's a little place called Miami. That's also now Italy. So there we go.
Yeah. It was a whole thing recently. It's how world politics has been going recently.
I can't believe everyone's missed this news.
It was really big.
We're all distracted by the new king that we've all forgotten that Miami is now owned by.
It got in second place in the news. Wasn't really followed.
Number 2
Yeah,
on trending.
unfortunately.
It was on BBC One last night. Did you miss it?
Unfortunately,
there,
there
it
was
was
too
streaming
much about the
live.
Queen.
There was a football game, right? So I missed it as well.
Anyway, yeah, right.
What about your game, Seb?
I'm gonna do my
what
game.
about
Yeah, I'm gonna do my game next.
Yeah. Do your game. What's your game? I'm
Do
really
your game. Do your
excited.
game.
Do your game. Do your game.
Do it. My game is obviously set in Vegas, and it's Rainbow Six Vegas, not number 2, the original. Because you complete your first mission, which is like set in a location, and then you get told that they're going to take you to Vegas, and I'm like, okay, cool, and kind of like I like the feel as well, because you go to Vegas in this chopper, and she's telling you your mission, and you're completely ignoring all the mission details and the crew. You're looking out the edge of your chopper, going, "I'm in Vegas, baby!" And and you're looking, and you see all these landmarks, and you start this miniature Eiffel Tower and this cool building, and then you start searching up online about different buildings in Vegas, and you start seeing that these buildings that you see just outside this chopper on this one particular mission, that they're very real. And it's the first time I went, wow, they've really designed this based on actual things, considering it's a game made back in 2000 and I presume 7 or 8 or something like that. But
yeah, it was really early in the 360s lifestyle.
And
cycle.
I was like, yeah, this they've done a really good job on making it look like that. And then you get dropped off and you have to go across a Vegas street that feels like a Vegas street.
Is it the Strip?
I can't. Yeah, it's the Strip. I can't tell you if it's exactly like the Strip. I've never been down the Strip, but if I had been down the Strip, it probably would be quite close to a 2007 game feel of what the Strip would look like. So yeah. And then you have to.
Well, I'll ask, because a lot of people said, like, for example, Fallout New Vegas did a really good job of it. So how does it feel, I guess, in comparison to that? Does that help?
The problem with okay. The thing about Fallout New Vegas, and I love the fact that they did a Vegas game, because like, I don't know. Do you remember going into New Vegas, and the moment you go into that little open area, you start feeling, I'm in a safe place now. I know people want to kill me, and I know there's a whole death world out there, but guess what? I'm safe in here. And then you start seeing all the casinos, and you can like, right, I'm just going to play on some of these games and completely forget about the rest of the game until you're like 10,000 in debt and stuff like that.
Yeah, the number one place to go broke.
Yeah, exactly.
To go broke, but it's like,
at least it's safe.
But it's just a really nice place that you get to spend the money and just to, and all that all those credits that you've saved up, and just have a good time. And I generally get to that point when I first played New Vegas for the first time. I went there and I was like, I don't want to go back in the outside scary world. I want to stay in here where it's safe. Please don't make me do another mission outside in the scary world.
Can you gamble in Rainbow Six Siege Vegas?
You can gamble. It's very you can pretty much gamble the same way you can do anything else. So I don't think, obviously, I'm not quite sure if it's available in all countries because of that gambling thing, but you can actually gamble the caps that you make in that game. So
no, I don't mean in Fallout New Vegas. Of course, in Vegas you can, but in the game that's brought.
No, you can't. But you do go in these casinos that are beautifully designed.
I don't think doing terrorist hunt, you're gonna have a bit of like 30 seconds for a hand of blackjack. I'm gonna be honest.
Say that. I remember if you shoot a machine, all the money comes out of it, and that's a nice little feature. And you're wondering, you could possibly pick the amount of coins
as well.
that drop on the floor. It's a really good thing where you can just go in these buildings and they just feel like, casinos and theaters and palm trees in the middle of nowhere, and you just get that Nevada Vegas feel. And so you're doing all this terrorist stuff, and it's like you're protecting people from terrorists by going in as this small team, securing these areas. And yeah, it's a really good shooting game, but behind it, because all this stuff is there, it makes you feel like you're actually in these buildings, and some of the buildings are based off real life locations, and I love that kind of thing. In fact, one of my profiles is, because I love the game so much, one of my profiles that I used to play games with is actually based off one of the mission titles in there. But yeah, that's the game. That's why I love it. I still remember mission names, and I haven't even played it for like years. Like Dante Theater, Calypso Casino. It's built into my heart and my brain. It's missions that I just absolutely love. Anyway,
to be fair, I remember playing a lot of rounds of Calypso Casino Terrorist Hunt at a friend's house when you'd have like a sleepover and you'd just play a huge chunk of that game for like hours on end. Brilliant use of time.
I think that's what's missing from modern Rainbow Six games, is just the going in a helicopter, being in an advanced team and taking out loads of terrorists and securing buildings and protecting people, and doing that in really lovely themed locations. I always thought they were going to do a Rainbow Six New York, and I was always looking forward to it. And I don't know what ever happened to that. I was like, it was talked about, but nothing really happened. Like, seriously, I have no idea.
That's a shame.
I
It
remember
would have been an amazing location for a game like this.
It was like, I was really excited because I heard they were going to announce something like Gamescom or something about a new Rainbow Six game. I was really excited. They're going to do New York finally, and they went Infection. I was like, no, just no,
no, please.
I'm not playing that. That's not New York. That's not what I wanted. Please go, leave. Don't. Anyway, that's my game. Okay. So Jay next. Let's hear your game and why all this waiting around is worth it.
Well, so I thought I'd pick something that, you know, obviously really fits with the theme of everything I've worked on my channel. You can look through my channel and you'll go, I know exactly why they picked this game. I have picked Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelists of the Roses.
I'm sorry, what?
Come again?
It is a game called Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelists of the Roses, of which, and I have to explain this because I sound insane, is it takes characters from the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series and puts them in the place of historical characters from the War of the Roses that took place in the UK. The battle between the Lancastrians and the Yorkists is played out in Yu-Gi-Oh! Form in a PS2 game.
Where's the game set?
Yeah.
Where's the game set? It's set in England.
Wait.
Like in York?
What's the game called, though?
What's the game called? Yu-Gi-Oh! The Duelists of the Roses.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of the Roses.
Yes, I'm not even
kidding. I was not expecting
that.
that.
Game.
I am going to obviously just paste the title into the chat for you so you can see it. That is it. It is.
And how does it depict the conflict of the War of the Roses?
Well, it depicts it in a very accurate way. Obviously, they all played a card game made by Konami,
Yeah,
you know, that's how wars happen in this country. No, honestly,
the more you know.
The thing about this game that was so weird about it, and so kind of weirdly special about it, and this is like more of a Yu-Gi-Oh! Game's point, is you played your cards and you basically moved them around this like little almost chessboard and made them like wail on each other. It's kind of like chess. It's kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a really weird game. And honestly, it's really good. I'd recommend it. It was very early in the PS2 life cycle, so it's not, if you like download a and emulate it, it won't take up loads of your hard drive, but it's actually really funny. Like, I remember this way too much. When I thought about this, it's been in my head since, 2003 or something?
Well, I wasn't even alive back then, so I can't really say much.
Yeah, but this is like, but obviously it doesn't depict like a lot of the area quite so much. So I do have a backup, and the backup also makes sense for everything that I talk about. It's Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, the movie tie-in game.
Transformers Revenge.
Where is it set?
So it takes place over a number of locations. I think there's there's a bunch of places. I think like in China there's a certain locations, but the main bit is towards the end when you're fighting through Cairo in Egypt, and it is just wild. Like because so that the buildings are all feeling like kind of lived in and kind of have this kind of appearance like you genuinely kind of know people live in this area, and yet you're having this one-on-one giant robot grudge match in the middle, shoving your opponents through like entire buildings and stuff. It is super wild. It is a fantastic experience. I've not been to Cairo. I do want to go, but unfortunately, every so often, nearby countries seem to be at war, which is a real pain in the arse. And yeah, I want to see these locations because every game that has taken place in Egypt has kind of given this feel, and it's like Egypt and Tunisia and a lot of these locations, and you kind of want to step into them and because they feel lived in enough, and I want to actually test how good they've done. But yeah, to me that's one of my examples is Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, mainly because giant robot grudge match in civilian locations, kind of fun.
Well,
Yeah. Surprise.
These are two titles I was not expecting, but okay.
I was like, I have
I
thought
was
of
not
two that
expecting
no one will have thought of.
I don't know how to lead out of that, or to lead.
I don't really know what to say.
Yeah, me neither.
Well, going back on track on the topic of the podcast, right? We are discussing real life locations in video games. So my question to you all would be: how much does a game need to depict a real life location? Should they base games on imaginary locations that have more freedom, or should they try to emulate the real world? Because then people are able to recognize locations and to feel immersed in cities they have never been or they have been. What is your hot take on this? Topic.
I was gonna bring in like certain locations from certain games as extras for this, but like you know what, I think that fits entirely on what I was gonna say anyway. I think there is an advantage of if you build these exactly, like if you take your time and the game developers build things exactly as they are. There's a lot of like. There's going to be so much more comparison for what the viewer's going to feel and experience, and they're going to want to discover what these locations actually look like in real life. And
I mean, I know people who have found like the general area that they live in London in various games who have gone like, oh, well, this hit harder because like I live round the block from there. Like you could like when you're playing something like Call of Duty Modern Warfare, when the Piccadilly Circus thing goes off, some people feel like more driven to take part in that, and it doesn't matter what it is that they think otherwise about military being on the streets of London or something. They go, well, this is near my house. Like I want to defend it, which is probably a thing that helps a lot of people be immersed.
also what I think as well, on top of that, I think you also get the chance to experience things depending on what game you play. Because for example, as in London, you get that feeling like if you play Watch Dogs, and you go around to where the BBC building should be, there is a broadcasting, but it's not called the BBC, but there is a broadcasting building where the BBC is, and it looks exactly like it. And you're like, you can just walk around that for ages going, yeah, I've been here. I like the look of this.
That.
This is exactly what I remember that. And you get the same thing in GTA around the piers, and I think we all know how realistic GTA is. And that is probably a reason why they're taking so long to release the next GTA game. Give them time; it's going to be perfect. It's the only game that's going to be perfect based on real life places. It's going to be great. But I think also what I want to twist it around to is saying that it doesn't have to be based on real life fully. Like, for example, a TV set that you've watched and I know where these buttons are, or I know where this place is in a TV set, because some places are set in real life locations, but they're on film, so they're not actually there. They're not real. They don't actually function. But like, for example, Doctor Who TARDIS, yeah, we know what that looks like. Putting that into a video game, that just makes it come alive as a player. And it as well, I'll mention the Harry Potter games, because when you go around that castle in some of the previous Harry Potter games, if you know what the castle looks like inside your head when these characters are running down those hallways, you get to see those areas actually come to life. Even though they don't actually, and they're all acting locations, they're still there. They're still real life locations. And when you're in the game, you can go, I've seen this. I've felt this. I've been around this. So I don't think the locations have to fully be exactly real, but they have to be somewhat real. But
I also think as well, like taking almost a thematic edge is quite nice. Like Pokemon, for example. I've been to France an ungodly amount of times. I've been through Paris a bunch. It's wonderful. And so when I played Pokemon X and Y, it was beautiful. It was nice. You were walking around the massive chateaus. You were feeling, and it felt weirdly like I was on a holiday again. And also it was like, but also kind of felt a bit like home. And Pokemon Sword and Shield being like the UK and having a lot of the kind of cottagey and kind of stuff that you find out in North Yorkshire and the likes, just really makes you feel quite comfortable in that regard. Even if it's not like shot for shot, you can kind of take a lot of the theming. Obviously, don't do some kind of awkward racial caricature. That would probably be best. But just like a nice themings that feel respectful and good.
If I were to bring a game as an example for myself, I would bring Just Cause 3, because as the people who have played the game have seen the game, Just Cause 3 is set in a fictitious land, so none of the cities or landmarks are real, but it's set in a very Mediterranean inspired locations. So you can see a lot of Italy, you can see a lot of Spain, a lot of Greece, a lot of southern France, and it's very charming for a Southern European like myself to see the game taking place in a fictitious yet very inspired island such as Medici.
Oh yeah, when I played it, it made me feel like when I'd been to Naples and going around, just all of the areas in there was just fantastic. So yeah, a lot of that felt very familiar. I mean, sometimes even just for a holiday, it feels familiar, doesn't it? It's really quite nice.
Absolutely. So, well, out of the old games we've mentioned, what game do you believe to be the one that does the best job at depicting the city it's depicting?
Elden Ring.
I would say that the one probably best suited and makes you feel kind of like you're there a bit would be the Assassin's Creed series. You mentioned Brotherhood, but for me it's 2, because I went to San Gimignano and it honestly looks pretty much, other than obviously the little bits of modernization to allow cars and stuff to show up, it looks exactly the same. And it's really nice.
I think it's a very strong point from the Assassin's Creed franchise. Ubisoft games in general tend to like to start their games in real life cities. We've seen it with Watch Dogs, London. We've seen it with the other two Watch Dogs in San Fran and in Chicago. We've seen it with The Crew, which is set in the entirety of the US, or I think a Rainbow Six Siege game in Washington, I believe, or the one in Vegas, Division, or the one in Vegas that Seb has brought for the podcast. So
the first Division was in New York, and I've got to be honest, that had a lot of. It felt like it in a lot of ways. I don't know if anybody else felt that when they played it. Of a lot of New York, it just every building just towers above you, and you just feel minuscule in comparison. And when a game does that, it makes you really feel that kind of atmosphere a bit.
Well, just like New York.
Well, yeah, exactly. Mafia 2 did that, and that was a fictional version of New York, but yeah.
Yeah. You know what? And I'll say kind of the one thing that really sells it to me is a game that really acts like it's in real life. For me personally, I'll mention there was some. See, they're not every game is completely perfect of completely depicting places, but I'd say there's a lot of I'd say GTA for me, GTA 4 in New York City, the feel of it, and being in Times Square. I think also Call of Duty does it as well when you're running around places in Call of Duty. But I don't know. I don't really think there's a particular game that can really.
I mean, for me, it's GTA 5 because it's almost like an exact replica of Hollywood. Like, there's a lot of comparisons to a bunch of buildings which are in real life, like the Maze Bank Tower in Hollywood. I think it's called it's like a bank something. I don't know. It's like a bunch of offices and like it's a massive It's pretty much just a massive office building. I think the Maze Bank Tower.
We can think of GTA Vice City, which is set in Miami, and it has a very good. Well, I mean, it is a very old game, so has aged a bit. But back in the days, it was
depicting a completely different Miami. It's depicting Miami in the 80s rather than Miami that you'd see today. So even then, you've got to compare it against almost photos of.
You know what game particularly then that I really think is perfect with it. I'm gonna do two games.
Right.
Actually, yeah. Hitman. Sorry, not Hitman. I had that in my head. No, I had that in my head. Assassin's Creed Unity in London and Watch Dogs 3 in London. Not sure if you've seen the maps and the gameplay of them. You do get that kind of feeling in both games. Wow, this is London, and wow, this is London in the past, wow, this is London in the future. And you kind of get that kind of feeling that, like, you get to see London of what Ubisoft depictates London from being in the past and then the future. And on both games, you can be in these places, you can view around and run around Buckingham Palace and all that kind of stuff. I mean, they probably copied the map layouts on both games, but like it still kind of gives you that picture of what London just feels like, and it's yeah, I think people, when you make the game, you make the map, and you don't just set it in the present, do a past version and a future version in a game. That it's just great.
Well, I think all the Watch Dogs have a really good replica to their cities. Like Watch Dogs 1 has a pretty good replica to Chicago. Watch Dogs 2 has a really good replica to San Francisco, and like Seb just said, Watch Dogs Legion for London.
I would say for games set in the past, a good example would be Yakuza 0, which is set in Tokyo in the 80s. So you have all those neon lights, you have all those the discos, you had the arcades, you had that very 80s lifestyle. And in the game, you can visit Kabuchiko, which is one of the famous districts of Tokyo, where Ichibanagan Arch is located, and Theater Square. So it is in the 80s. It's very exciting to be there.
I mean, it's not like 1-to-1, but as well, Fallout 3 and 4 are actually really good to a degree, because it helped me remember when I was in Washington DC and in
Boston.
Boston. Yes, I lost the word. My brain just wanted to say Baltimore, and I was like, no, that's not the place. Yeah, and in Boston, it helped me kind of have a vague idea about where each landmark we were kind of trying to see was, because my brain could kind of picture it from the map from those games. I mean, finding. I remember with my family in DC, finding them. They were finding the metros an absolute nightmare, and I was going, "Hang on, no, you need to aim for such and such a place because that's where we're going." And my dad was like, "How do you know that?" And I went, "You got to remember, I played a game for an insane amount of hours where you walk up these metro lines. Like
Wait,
I'm
what game was
kind
that?
of at Fallout 3, where it's like,
Ah.
and so I kind of remembered where some of the metro lines went, and I went, yeah, it'll work. And my dad was like, I would like to be able to say that you shouldn't be able to map everything off that, but we had just come from New York, and he was saying, I've done movies for that for the entire like chunk of a week, so it was the only way I knew where I was going.
And they
I've
say
got-
video games don't teach.
I've got a message from our producer saying Dartmoor from Hitman's 3 second mission location takes you on a historical part of England known for its grassy meadows, rocky hilltops, windy rivers, and dense wetlands. Dartmoor has also a reputation for myths, legend, and mystery, and Thornbridge Manor lives up to that, which I do agree. It definitely, there's secret locations in that thing, and yeah, it definitely feels like really cool and real life locations. I was just wanted to add on the whole end of that is how many of you, when you play these particular missions, how many of you go onto Wikipedia like afterwards and just search up things about that area? Because it makes me want to actually search things up on Wikipedia when there are games that are set into locations. Like I'll just go on Google Maps and I'll just go like, how good
funny
is this
you
in
should
comparison?
say that because when you just said Thornbridge Manor, I literally went up just to look it up on Google Maps just to see where it was, and it's surprisingly like all the way up north near Manchester, or no, near Sheffield. I mean, near Sheffield. It's like south of Sheffield and Chester and east of no. Oh yeah.
Are you
Sorry,
having fun
west
with a
of-
map?
Yes, I am actually. West of Chesterfield. There you go.
There we go. See, yeah, well, I do that. I mean, that's what got me into a lot of looking into, especially for this Call of Duty video that I'm doing, literally looking up where multiplayer maps take place, where like the events that these things are talking about, because then I'll also look up the events and like the historical elements of these areas and stuff. So yeah, I think that's a lot of what games push you to do, is to look into stuff and learn a bit more, or at least that's the best possible outcome.
It is. And for the topic of our video, I think we've brought plenty of examples where games depict real life locations accurately in many different forms in very different games genre.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a question for everybody. Where is one location that you don't know if it has been shown, but you'd really like to see?
India.
I don't get what you mean.
India. If you could pick a game to depict like an area, where would you want to see shown in a game?
I think India is not very represented in video games. I mean, there are no games that come to mind when it comes to India. The only game that comes to mind is Assassin's Creed India, which it's like a 2D adventure, which is okay, I guess. But it would be very nice to see like Mumbai, recreated for maybe a game like Hitman or.
Oh,
In Hitman, I think Hitman has like 1 or 2 levels, but it's not like loads. It's not the ones that immediately come to mind when you think, oh, a Hitman game. You don't immediately picture them, I don't think.
I just got an idea for like a game. So I just thought of North Korea. So you're in North Korea and you are like a civilian there, and you have to escape from North Korea, and you have to fight the military to get out, and you run a refuge. No, you run like a little organization to get people out, and like a mission to get people out of North Korea, and you have to like fight the military and stuff. So it's like a first-person shooter kind of thing.
It sounds a bit too, close to reality for some people.
If that was done very tactfully, it could be
Yeah.
really good. If it was
could
done
be.
haphazardly, it could be really awkward and awful. It's a horrible kind of.
You got to balance it out, right?
Yeah.
And
You know-
how about you, Seb?
Personally, I know this is like, it's not major locations, but there are locations that I really wish they'd give you a bit more like stuff over. There's been a lot of like Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs have done a very good job of doing like Parliament buildings, and they've done a lot of Buckingham Palace and all that kind of stuff. I really want to see a game set in like Washington DC of that measure, of where you get like, I'd love to walk around the White House. Like there have been White House games, because you've seen it in Fallout 3, and you've seen it in
Payday.
Payday, yeah. But you don't really. I haven't really got a proper White House game. I mean, I've seen
you
it.
You can walk about the White House in Fallout 3, but unfortunately, it's missing half its roof.
I think the best depiction of the White House so far for me has been Splinter Cell Conviction, which is the closest I've got to going, oh, this is the White House. But I don't really think we've had that yet. I'd love a game where we get to play as the president. And no, Saints Row 4 does not count in this.
You know, when you said, oh, well, the one that I get to wander around the White House, my brain immediately said, oh, so Saints Row 4. I don't know why. Yeah, it's good.
Anyway,
it's
just
good
as I bring this podcast to an end, so just mention to anyone who wants to play a game that is actually set in a real life locations. I think we've mentioned games like Assassin's Creed. My producer has mentioned Uncharted, Tomb Raider. We've mentioned Call of Duty. What else we've done? We've done Hitman.
Transformers.
Jay, what was your game?
Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelists of the Roses.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelists of the Roses. Yes, all those games. Brilliant.
Well, before we go, I want to say that there is one location that I would love to see a game made out of. And it's solely because it would be infuriating to so many people to try and play, but Liverpool modern day.
This is some sort of British joke I cannot understand.
That's great. I thought you were going to go, and you were going to go directly to the viewers and just go, yours.
Yeah, your house. No, because I will explain this for you, BlueFox. Liverpool, and I'm sorry to any Scousers listening, have the most complex accent you've ever heard in your life.
Don't get me started.
The voice work would be impossible for that game.
It would be impossible. You could not hire Nolan North to do it. So finally, we'd have a game without him. It would be amazing. Everybody who's not from Britain would go, what on earth is this? I'm having to play exclusively with subtitles on. It would be amazing. Nobody would understand. Be great.
And with this, I think we come to an end.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's just do thank yous, Danny, for being here. Thank you, Jay, for being here, and thank you, BlueFox, for being here. It's been wonderful
Always
having
a pleasure.
you all. Danny, I'm gonna leave you to do the subscribe bit at the end.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps us out, and it really makes me happy. Have a good day. Ciao, ciao.
Arrivederci.
So, guys, if you guys want to make Danny happy, like the video. Was that really cringy? Remember, ciao, ciao. Should we all do it together?
Ciao.
3, so
Ciao,
remember, everybody. Ciao, ciao for now.
Ciao, ciao for now.
Ciao, ciao for now.